and coming to you from parts unknown. So as we watch what's happening in this big old world, and we're dealing with the most, what was it? Evil and corrupt entities on the face of the earth. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. I'll play a little intro video while people come into the audience. Thank you for joining me tonight.
That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something...
Donald, you must move your head.
Shenzo, you died, and I'd never got the chance to say goodbye.
Donald, I don't say goodbye. You need to remember your training. Move your head. I cannot explain. I must go.
Wait, Shenzo, if I never see you again, then see you later, Space Cowboy.
But you will see me again, because there is one last thing that I must do.
Months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take Thank you, Shenzo.
I'll guard the roads and I'll guard the skies.
Just played that to remind everybody what we're dealing with. And we're going to talk about the Copter crash. We're going to talk about the hearings. We're going to talk about rumors going around, and be careful who you follow. So, how you doing, Sherry? Nice to see you. Sissy, Kathy, Robin, Flannel Cheese. Nice to see you, everyone. So, what you see on the screen there is an upside down Black Hawk. Black Hawk. And as we know, all souls on board both aircraft are lost. And Donald Trump came out and made a strong case for ending the hiring on the basis of political or other than merit. I'll put it that way. He wants a performance-based system, the best of the best. And I put in my thumbnail here, increased traffic, decreased competence. The airport there, Reagan National especially, in 23, the Biden administration approved an increase in traffic. The level of controllers wasn't changed in the Trump administration. They didn't do anything to change the level of efficiency, or they didn't fire anybody or run anybody off. They didn't even have the people Trump wants confirmed yet when this happened. But no, to hear the media intimate and tell it, somehow Trump's fault. So, when you remove merit-based and you put in the diversity, equity, inclusion, and turn your back on very competent people for the sake of political correctness or whatever, you have decreased competence. Of course. And if you have increased traffic and decreased competence, you have tragedy. It's a matter of time. And Trump is so astute. He's so astute. He really is. He's very familiar with aircraft and airports and what needs to be done. And he's zeroed right in on the problem. And when we were discussing last night when the news was coming through, the first thing I said was, that's a dedicated lane. That's a dedicated flight path for a plane to land. What was anything doing there? And the next question would be altitude. Why were they at the same altitude? Granted, the plane was on a descent on its final approach. I mean, it was minutes away from touching its wheels down. Really, maybe not even a minute. So anyway, people are going to put out things, and I've got some stuff people put out to excite the sensibilities and to get people to automatically go to a narrative, and don't buy it whole. Don't buy it wholesale. And I've got some copies of the 17 posts that people are referring to. But the thing I want to point out is it is a Black Hawk, not an Apache. So anyway, I pontificated enough. Let me see who else has gotten in here. Hi, Todd. How you doing? Cadence Cleanup. Wayne gave me a thumbs up. Elva's here. Benjamin. Quality and qualified people should be doing the jobs. That's right. Melinda. He's only there for about a week. Hi, Justin. Tom Tillis. He said he was going to vote for... he pukes out politician stuff. But I think Kash Patel is gonna cruise through. Hi, Tuco. Hi, Tom. This is Justin. How you doing? Tulsi is, let's see, it's a, who was it that, I got his face in my mind. I can't think of his name. He's concerned. We'll get into that. But I do want to play a couple of clips. They might be a little mixed up, but let me see because I set up both studios. I am broadcasting on Bumble. So if you're listening to me on Bumble, please make sure you hit the follow button and the thumbs up. I appreciate it. So anyway, I'm going to leave these up for a little bit because, as always, we're discussing two forms of government, aren't we? Two philosophies of government. And it doesn't get more stark than what you see on the screen. Keep in mind that Democrats voted to fine American citizens for not buying insurance and then conspired to give it to illegal, migrants, aliens for free. And then you have Trump saying, holy moly, they say about Trump, he wasn't joking. Trump just called for Congress to abolish the income tax. This is huge. There's your choices, folks. It's called A and B. Which ones you want? Pappy Two Bears, how you doing? Ha ha. Let's see. Yeah, there were only 3 crew members on the Black Hawk. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be 4. You need a pilot and a co-pilot. Yeah, very strange what happened. Very strange. And I look at everything that comes out with a side eye. Hi, Angela. How you doing? And Justin Bean, I want to say thank you to Justin Bean for stopping by me a coffee last night. I do appreciate that. I have a link in the description if anybody wants to help with buy me a coffee. As you all know, this is totally a viewer-supported channel. here on Utizzle. I'm not monetized. And there you have it. So people are saying that this is something that was planned out. And they pull up a post from the 17th letter to prove it. Okay? And I'm leery of that stuff, and I'm no slacker when it comes to the 17th letter. But here's what people are putting out. Right here. Oh, come on. Get on the screen. There we go. January 30th, 2018, which is today. Post number 646. It says one word, Apache. Last night there, everyone was saying it's an Apache. It was an Apache. It was Apache. Oh my God. Look what the post was. What, 7 years ago? Apache. But yesterday was the 29th when it happened, and it was a Black Hawk. I'm going to go over this some more. I am not going to discard the notion that this was somehow purposeful. We don't know who was piloting that craft. I'm going to go over some of my experiences with my rear end up in the air and crashes and pilot ratings, experiences, night flying. We used to call Dulles and areas like Reagan National, well, the Beehive. We're going to go to the Beehive. Oh my God, we're going to go in the Beehive because that's what it's like. Okay, now they private crafts. I don't know what the limitations are now for private planes, and the days of going to Dulles or Reagan National or anything like that, and then going to Georgetown and have lunch or meet somebody in a private plane. I think those days are over. So, for what it's worth. And I said last night, that's some scary business coming in and out of places like that. And you really feel vulnerable. And so we'll talk about that some more. Yeah, who's this? Tilling said he was against pardoning. Hi, Justin. Because it got off too easy. Yeah, I know. There was a lot of political. Hey, as long as he lets Kash Patel go through. Kash Patel had to hold his tongue because you could have busted their chops many times. I'm talking about Adam Schiff, especially. He's got a lot of damn nerve. But anyway, before I get into that, I want to show you some things here. If people bring up that 17 posts, what's the difference between a Black Hawk and a Apache? Each represents a different aspect of modern warfare. The Apaches is the precise, deadly striker, and the Black Hawk is the versatile, reliable workhorse. Much larger. You see the Apache on the right of your screen and the Black Hawk on the left. And together they form a symbiotic relationship, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I've got some other pictures that for you to look at so you can see it's quite a bit different. And Apache is mentioned again in the Q post. It was not just that one time, okay? But you see the Chinook, okay, Black Hawk, Iroquois, Longbow Apache, Comanche, Kiowa warrior Cobra. So you see there the difference between the Apaches center left of the screen and the Apache is top right of the screen. Quite a different profile, a larger cargo area, different weapons capabilities and things they can carry as far as missiles and different functions, right? Here we go. U.S. military helicopters are named after a native tribe of America. This is in accordance with the USA 1976 AR registration 70-28, which states the Army aircraft should be given the names of native tribes, native chiefs, or terms or events. So there's a good comparison there between the Apache and the Black Hawk, okay? So, but I'm not saying that somebody couldn't have took advantage of the fact there was a military helicopter near a civilian airport. And some Black Hawks can be UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. I know that Apaches also, more so, can be remotely controlled. Keep that in mind, folks. The way I handle these types of things that are bantered around, I do not dive head first and say, I know for certain this happened. I say it wouldn't surprise me, number one, and I wouldn't put it past them because what were we expecting today? Kash Patel. What was I saying? Boy, I can't wait. Just like during the earlier hearing, Pam Bondi said, I can't wait to hear you question Kash Patel about a certain you-know-who anon, okay? So, yeah. I do want to say that Mr. T did use an interesting term when he was describing what was going on. He was describing how difficult it is to be an air traffic controller and how we have to have the best. He said, this is high-level chess. Did you all catch that? Theodosius, how you doing? Kathy's here. Jersey Joe. Lori. KNS Cleanup said, Senate just confirmed Kash. Oh, good. Now, that was the vote to get them out of the committee, KNS, to refer them to the Senate for a full vote. They confirmed him in the committee. Hi, Buckeye. How you doing? Debbie, how you doing? Am I right or wrong, KNS? I think it was a committee, getting him out of committee. Then it's got to go to the Senate for the full vote. I think we've got like a 7-2 advantage on the committee. So that, these are going to go through. We're talking about a full Senate vote. That's what is going to be the trick. So Mr. T discussed that's a high-level chess game. And why do I say that? Because I've said before that the Black Hats look at the 17th letter. They're being disruptive. They had started a rumor that had TikTok go. The media helped, okay? Politicians helped start a rumor that people's food stamps and Medicaid was going to get cut off, their disability checks were going to get cut off. TikTok had a mini eruption of people putting up videos screaming and crying. What am I going to do if I don't get my EBT card? That damn Trump is cutting off everything. And Trump had to come out and make a brief statement that this is a falsehood, and he's disappointed with the media pushing it for whatever reason. We know what reason. Also, the Medicaid website went down briefly, and it was discussed, I think, during the Bobby Kennedy hearings. It was referred to by senators in the know. Yeah, that was attacked. It was attacked, but it's back up now. But they were pushing the narrative that because of Trump's actions, the Medicaid site went down. So we're seeing this subversion and cyber sabotage. They feel that some disgruntled folks in IT with Medicaid help facilitate the problems the site was having to make Trump look bad. So we have this disruptive behavior going on. We have, as you saw last night, mayors, senators, governors, teachers, law enforcement, all vowing to be disruptive with the push to return migrants, right? So if somebody was monitoring, say you are a black hat, right? An operator, and you say, okay, let's see what was posted on June 30th for every year, from 2017 up to 2020? June 30th. Oh, Apache came up. Could you do something that would cause everybody to believe that it was somehow caused by the Q team? Yeah. I wouldn't put it past them. That's what I say. It would not surprise me. I gave that sentence to the producer of a very big show many of you may watch. When I was critical of somebody for repeating things that they weren't sure of, as if they were sure of, made them seem like they were crazy. I said, start using the term, it wouldn't surprise me. Okay? And they use it quite a bit. And you'll hear them say it, and then you go, oh, that's who Mountain Man's talking about. And their producer took it to them, and that's how they operate now. So I wouldn't be surprised if, since I know the bad guys and gals monitor the 17th site and analyze the posts when they see an opportunity to disrupt Black Hawks close enough to an Apache. They have the ability to be remotely controlled. A big day on the Senate floor in the Senate hearing is coming up concerning 17 and on. Today was the day. We can get a narrative to show how Trump is screwing everything up. He's screwing up the FAA. He's screwing up the Medicaid sites. He's screwing up everybody's EBT cards. See how horrible he is? So it wouldn't surprise me. Hi, Miss Mindersue. How are you doing? It would not surprise me. So, anywho, let's hear a little bit of what Mr. T's got to say. I'll play some videos before my stream gets too old, and the videos do a little breaking down. And I will also remind you all that I said big things were going to happen when I know, and I know this is a little kooky notion of mine, that when the internet speed goes up, way up, which is rare, means stuff is going to go down and they want people communicating. It's the opposite of a cyber attack, okay? But anyway, let's listen to Mr. T.
Before I got to office, recently, second term, the FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, I mean, actually, their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened, because of the stress, where you have many, many planes coming into one target, and you need a very special talent and a very special genius to be able to do it. Targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. The FAA's website states they include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism all qualify for the position of a controller of airplanes pouring into our country, pouring into a little spot, a little dot on the map, a little runway. The initiative is part of the FAA's Diversity and Inclusion Hiring Plan. Think of that. The initiative is part of the FAA's Diversity and Inclusion Hiring Plan, which says diversity is integral to achieving FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel. I don't think so. I think it's just the opposite. The FAA website shows that the agency's guidance on diversity hiring were last updated on March 23rd of 22. They wanted to make it even more so. And then I came in, and I assume maybe this is the reason. The FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit. The Department of Transportation is government agency charged with regulating civil aviation. Well, he runs it, 45,000 people, and he's run it right into the ground with his diversity.
Yeah, all he's got is a good bunch of BS with him. As I want to remind and to my new viewers, devices have different interfaces. I've talked to people after my videos. Some people, if they have Apple or if they have a Android or whatever, certain videos may interact differently depending on what kind of speakers your device uses. And I have suggested in the past to Walmart has 99-cent headphones. And you plug them in the top of the phone and put them in your ears and you hear it just fine. They don't, they can't put up with a lot of being jerked around or pulled or anything like that. $4.99, you get a good set that you put in your ear holes, and I could even get out of my tractor and run my tractor and listen to videos while I'm out on the tractor. It was either $4.99 or $5.99. So I don't have a producer. I'm a one-man band, and do the best you can with a $1.99 set of headphones or a $4.99 set of headphones. Or, put the phone closer to your ear, as some of the videos play really good. And a lot of them have print underneath. Like, for instance, I'll play this right here. I want to play this young lady right here. Okay? And I'll tell you why I'm playing her. Let me see if I can find that one. Here we go. Where's it at? Here we go. Let me find it. Here we go. Right here. It says, this guy's name is Nate. What's his name? Squeeze this down here. Nate Hockman says, in 1954, 750 Border Patrol agents deported 1.1 million illegals in the space of a few months. This was what Trump has referred to many times, the Eisenhower operation, okay? Today we have 21,000 Border Patrol agents, 21,000 compared to 750, and far more advanced technology. Mass deportations are reasonable, necessary, and possible. We've done it before. We can do it again. There are the photos. There's everybody getting rounded up. And, yeah, they're out of here. 1.1 million. Now, what's the part of the difference? Part of the difference is, I'm sure, that they had help from local police. Here is a young lady putting out a TikTok saying how she's not going to help.
Hola, buenos días. Estoy haciendo este video porque mucha gente, bueno, toda la gente me está preguntando que le explique sobre ICE y qué es lo que está pasando con eso. Entonces, lo que les quería decir sobre eso es que nosotros como policía local no estamos reportando ni llamándole a ICE para decirle que nos encontramos con una persona indocumentada o cosas así. Entonces lo que ICE está haciendo es independientemente de ellos. Nosotros no sabemos a qué personas están buscando, no sabemos dónde van a estar, cuándo van a estar y nada sobre eso. Yo sé que la gente piensa que nosotros los estamos llamando y que estamos trabajando con ellos, cuando en realidad nosotros no tenemos idea de dónde van a estar, cuándo van a estar y todo eso. Entonces, no sé si esto le puede ayudar un poquito a la comunidad. Lo único que nosotros sabemos sobre eso es que ellos están buscando a personas, a criminales violentos, pero no sabemos en qué se basan o si es lo único que están buscando, no sabemos nada sobre eso. Lo único que les puedo decir es que nosotros no estamos trabajando con ellos, o sea, no lo estamos, nosotros lo que hacemos es responder a llamadas de emergencia y crímenes, y aunque encontremos una persona indocumentada, no le estamos llamando a ellos para avisarles sobre eso. Nosotros hacemos lo que siempre hemos hecho y nada más. No estamos ayudando ni reportándolos a ustedes con ICE ni nada sobre eso. Entonces no sé si esto les puede ayudar como a la comunidad para tranquilizarlos un poquito y obviamente que no tengan miedo, pero en realidad nosotros no sabemos cuándo van a estar, dónde van a estar. Entonces yo sé que ustedes quieren que yo les diga cuándo va a haber redadas y todo eso, pero en realidad ni nosotros como policía sabemos, porque ese es un o sea, lo que ellos hacen no nos avisan a nosotros. Entonces no sé si este mensaje les puede ayudar un poquito.
Yeah, the volume's good, but me no speaky. But anyway, so public service announcement, we don't do, we just answer calls. And so I wish that Mr. T's volume was better. Yeah, earbuds. Right, Lori, I'm sorry. I call them headphones. What do I know? I'm an old man. Hi, Mark, how you doing? But you're right. You're right. Television shows, how you doing? You're right, Lori. Earbuds. Yeah, I stick them in my ear hole. And I got cheap set for emergencies, and I got the high dollar one, $4.99. High dollar one. Here's what I liked during Kash Patel. Whoop. I got to get her off the screen. During Kash Patel's hearing, let's see. You all know this nice lady here? Dick Durbin, who I don't like saying his nickname. Been talking about that for a number of years what they call him, and it's dirty, okay? And then his name, it's whatever it is. But she talked earlier in the hearing how Dick Durbin obstructed her from getting a certain bit of information. But anyway, here she is kind of summarizing it for Kash Patel, and Kash Patel telling her what he will do.
I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build this international human trafficking, sex trafficking ring. Now, earlier I urged then Chairman Durbin to subpoena those records, and I ended up being blocked by Senator Durbin and Christopher Wray. They stonewalled on this, and I know that breaking up these trafficking rings is important to President Trump. So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past and how we are going to countermand missing children and exploited children going forward.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. So that's laid right out there for everybody to see, everybody to hear. And so if some politicians got to act like little stinkers, but still push for Kash Patel to get through, we're all for it, okay? So now that previous video with Mr. T, anybody who is not concerned about what he was talking about, the FAA, okay, putting emphasis on people with psychiatric disorders, okay, severe mental infirmities, emotional distress. If they're not concerned about that and can't see that that is wrong, they got a problem. Not us. And what happened last night had nothing to do with the Trump administration or his policies. Here's what Trump published while I was broadcasting last night. What a terrible night this has been. God bless you all. Let me get that where you can, there, it's all in the screen. God bless you all. It was a horrible night. But it shows you how gross they are, looking for ways to blame Donald Trump. Here was a guy out of Nashville, some local reporter, radio personality, Phil Williams, put this up. Then he deleted it. President Trump offered unprecedented buyouts to all federal employees at a time when studies show the FAA does not have enough air traffic controllers to keep us safe. Most people will likely die. And he put this up with it. Live, plane crash reported near Reagan Washington National Airport. Voice of Jason Whitley. Whitley. I don't know what his name is. But Phil Williams put this up and promptly took it down because they're trying to capitalize politically on a horrific situation that if it was not purposeful, it certainly was for the two things I put up: increased traffic, decreased competency. That equals tragedy. This is the Black Hawk helicopter found upside down in the Potomac River, another angle of it. That is where they pulled the first two victims out. Let me see if I have audio of that. This might be it right here. You'll hear him use the term at the beginning, non-viable. if this is the right video clip. Let me see if it's either the helicopter hitting. Well, it might be superimposed over the audio. Let me see.
I've got 2 victims with me. Do you have a count of how many people were in this plane who I'm looking for? I have no viable survivors at this point.
I do not have a count yet. I will get back to you on that one.
DC Battalion Fire Chief 3. We have command set up on the DC side of the river. 5530 Arnold Avenue Southwest. Our fireboat is reporting 2 souls out of the water and on board their boat. We're trying to get some information about the airframe and a tail number if you have it, and a possibility of how many souls you have on board.
DC Battalion Chief, I got you. It's supposed to be a CRJ regional jet versus a helicopter. When I get back I'll get back to you with the souls on board. And that's how it's playing in a second.
Command, tail number, November 709, Papa, Sierra.
Yeah, that was a first responder. One of the first things he said was he had no viable survivors. And yes, Ms. Minsu, they said there are no survivors. And last night I had in my mind, I've got a lot of experience with the Potomac River years ago. And diving, flying, being on vessels. And I knew last night the chances were low. I didn't want to say that. But I thought to myself, after the cold weather over there on the East Coast, sustained cold, that they'd be lucky if that water was above 40 degrees, was in my mind. And then I heard today that it was reported at 38 degrees. So you got about 15 or 20 minutes before you get where you can't even move your arms and legs, the average person. You can have people that, are heavy or heavier build or have a little more of a collagen layer. That's another word for fat that could do better. I'm not saying you'd expire at that time, but you would definitely find it difficult to move your appendages after, 15, 20 minutes in that kind of water. So the crash occurred at 400 feet, and it was just basically a slam into the water, like hitting concrete, and people may have been alive, but unconscious. They had no time to get into crash position. They were seated with their seatbelts on. The plane broke into pieces. I saw people in chats on other broadcasts talking about the depth of the water. It's only 8 feet. Only 8 feet. Only 8 feet. When you're strapped into a seat, and if you're conscious and the section you're in goes in 8 feet of water, you with the impact, they probably had just a few seconds of survivors from the initial crash. The wings have fuel in them. That's where you saw the explosion. The wings have fuel in them. Probably not a lot because it wasn't topped off because it was going to land from a flight from Kansas to the DC area. They didn't have full tanks. But anyway, there were a lot of people on board, I think, that had a few seconds of what the hell, oh my God, and then that was it. So it's, not easy to talk about things in that way, like a clinical, mechanical way, but that's the way you've got to view it, without getting your mind into the actual realities of finding yourself, even for a few seconds of survival in that situation. People have been putting out Breaking 911 put out. There were a couple of Russian nationals on board. I don't know if there were more than these two. I heard several, and I've heard a couple. I don't know. These are with the skating team. They probably had their manager with them. They probably had a trainer with them. So I'm sure it's more than just these two people were Russian nationals. World figure skating champions. And what's her name? Let me see. I got to get that screen. Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov were among the passengers on the doomed American Airlines crash in D.C. Then, unfortunately, you also see here, this is a post. You see these two girls right here. They were spending the day at Disney World, Disneyland. Joanna says, please pray for my community. We lost two beautiful souls in the DC crash. Our community is rallying, but I'm asking you all to pray for the father and younger brother who are grieving tonight. It's hit my inner circle pretty hard. What we know about the victims of the DC plane crash. Brielle Bayer, 12, and her mother, 42-year-old Justnia, were both killed in the crash. Is that Andrew Bayer, Brielle's father, and Justina's husband, Andrew. So there we have 4, and it was 60 people plus crew, or 60 total, I don't know. Here you have 2 flight attendants. You had a pilot, co-pilot, and 2 flight attendants. So it's 4 crew members. Therefore, and more victims of the American Airlines flight that have been identified. Danasia Elder, 34, Ian Epstein, 53. Please pray for their families. And then the last update I got, or one of the last ones I got from Breaking 911 again, the Livingston family, the entire family, okay, killed in a DC plane crash. There they are. Peter, 48, Donna, 48, Everly, 14, oh my word, Lydia, 11. 4 gone. So I'm sure we'll be getting more and more as time goes on. I got a video. I will play it, loop it 2 times, maybe 3. This is alleged to be the actual radar screen for the plane and the helicopter, and they were going in parallel opposing directions. Let me go ahead and play it. Now, this showed up on Telegram. You know, is it genuine compared to what you all have seen? The video, I'm going to play an enhanced video that shows the chopper hitting. It looks like it comes in from the side. I don't know. Let's see. Your perspective can be thrown off. So that's, you see that the plane, the jet, was turning. Okay, on your screen, it would be going right to left, and the plane, I mean the copter, did actually hit it from the side. So that this is an accurate representation. They weren't coming directly at each other at the end. The plane was turning to port to the left, to head to the runway, which is that diagram you see, those lines that you see. And it was descending. It was descending. So what you had, the pilots probably didn't even see the helicopter. It was underneath them while they were descending for the landing. You have the copter has the plane above them, and you can't see through the roof. So you had limited visibility from the floor of the plane and also by the ceiling of the chopper. See what I'm saying? Something is coming up underneath you. You don't see it till the last second if you see it at all. I was going to tell a story about when we used to go to the Beehive night flying. Now, you have a pilot and a co-pilot, and they have you have voice-activated headphones on. So a lot of time people do a little blow. They go, I don't know if you can hear that. They go, and then they start to talk. Because when you go, it opens the microphone. You say, hey, Fred, how we doing? How's your approach doing? Oh, I'm doing okay. So I hated being in the back. Now, we talked, there was 3 people in the helicopter. You had 2 in the front and 1 in the back, even though it can hold a lot more. You can't, your visibility is way down in the back. Your best visibility is pilot and co-pilot. You got really good visibility. You turn your head, you look around the clock, 2 o'clock, noon, whatever. But you can't see through the bottom of the plane. And most of the time, we had a cockpit a sliding cockpit. It was a bubble canopy, which I really like that. But if you don't have that, you're dealing with limited visibility above your head. So anyway, what I'm saying, they put me in the back. I said, I want to be co-pilot, navigator, whatever. I don't like being in the back. Get in the back. Oh, God. So they're flying along. And whenever they went to look at each other, what did they see? My big fat head stuck in between them, because I would lean forward and stick my head between their 2 heads so I could see what was going on. I didn't like sitting back there where I couldn't see. And so, I told them, you don't want to look at my big fat head this close. Put me in front next time. So that's the way things went. And I said, hey, look, I'm not going to metro area at night again, ever again. That was a long time ago. So Trump was talking about visual flight, versus instrument flight. He's very knowledgeable. And I heard last night that it was a training mission, for a instrument flight rating, IFR, update. I heard at least one of the pilots had 20 years under their belt. I don't know. We don't know the identities. We don't know the ages. We don't know the level of experience. But, if there were two pilots trying to get in their flight time to meet continuing practices or continuing education requirements to maintain their rating of being able to fly instrument rated. Something that many of you will find interesting. JFK Jr. did not have his instrument flight ratings. In other words, he could only pilot planes with certain visibilities. He couldn't fly in poor visibility. He couldn't fly at night because he did not have his rating yet. You're rated as a pilot. If your VFR, visual flight rating, the instructor checks off, okay, you can go out on a clear day with good visibility during day and you can fly. You're licensed to do that, but you're not licensed to do it if you can't orientate yourself and control the craft with only the use of instruments. And how they train you for that in private planes is the instructor will put a hood over your upper body where you can see the cockpit, your dash, your instruments, but you can't see the horizon. You can't see nothing except your instruments. You have a flight plan. You go strictly by your compass, okay, and your whether you're level with the horizon, your airspeed, and you're able to operate the airplane with zero visibility, only using your instruments. I don't know. Were these pilots in that situation? Why? Trump said it was nighttime. It was a clear night. He said they were visual on a visual rated flight. But if they were training, updating their training for instrument, did the guys in the front have their vision limited to only the instruments and the guy in the back is the instructor? I'm just saying. And why would they do it at night? Because if you have your head under a hood and you're piloting a plane, training or upgrading, when you take that hood off and it's bright sunshine, it messes your eyes up. It's hard to get your eyes, and you don't want that happening while you're operating an airplane. So it's a lot easier to perform that kind of a task at night when you remove the hood. At nighttime, your eyes aren't as shocked as much. So that's just notions on my part. There's some discussion that there may have been goggles involved. There may have been one with a hood and one wearing goggles. And then switch off. I'll put on the hood and pilot the plane. You wear the goggles. Did they get their training time in on each type of, I don't know what the military requirements for training are for these types of night vision goggles. And night vision goggles can, if you're not used to them and you don't really know what you're looking at when you look through them versus your regular vision. So I hope that makes sense to you all about what kind of things can go wrong during a training session. There's a bunch of other issues that need to be looked at. Why did the tower allow them to be at that altitude that close to established approach? Okay, an established approach path. What, like Trump said? Well, let me play what he said. Let me see. Let's see here. Hopefully the volume's good on this for your device. And I tell you what, it's really, really good to get some earbuds. You can get a lot of stuff done hands free and still listen to crazy old men like me. But anyway, let me play this guy.
Seconds after that, there was the crash that took place. Well, you follow them in. That means like everything's fine. Follow them in. You had a pilot problem from the standpoint of the helicopter. I mean, because it was visual. It was a very clear night. It was cold but clear, and clear as you could be. The American Airlines plane had lights blazing. They had all of their landing lights on. I could see it from the Kennedy Center tape. We had a tape up on the Kennedy Center. That seems to be the primary. Thus far, I'm sure we'll see other tapes because it's such an area where there are a lot of cameras looking up into the air, into space. So we'll probably see many other shots of it before too much time goes by. But we had a situation where you had a helicopter that had the ability to stop. I have helicopters. You can stop a helicopter very quickly. It had the ability to go up or down. It had the ability to turn. And the turn it made was not the correct turn, obviously. It did somewhat the opposite of what it was told. We don't know that would have been the difference because the timing was so tight. It was so little. There was so little time to think. But what you did have is you had vision. The helicopter had vision of the plane because you had vision of it all the way, perfect vision of it all the way from at Kennedy Center where the tape was taken. And for some reason, there weren't adjustments made. Again, you could have slowed down the helicopter substantially. You could have stopped the helicopter. You could have gone up. You could have gone down. You could have gone straight up, straight down. You could have turned. You could have done a million different maneuvers. For some reason, it just kept going and then made a slight turn at the very end, and by that time it was too late. They shouldn't have been at the same height, because if it was at the same height, you could have gone under it or over it, and nobody realized, or they didn't say that it's at the same height. At the same height, it still wouldn't have been great, but you would have missed it by quite a bit. Could have been 1,000 feet higher. It could have been 200 feet lower. But it was exactly at the same height, and somebody should have been able to point that out. So all of this is going to be studied, but it just seems to me, from a couple of words that I like to use, the words common sense, some really bad things happened, and some things happened that shouldn't have happened. So you had a helicopter going in an identical direction. You had a helicopter that was at the exact same height as somebody going in essentially the opposite direction. You had a plane that was following a track, which is a track that every other plane followed. And I don't imagine, I know I've heard today that they might have been following the preceding plane, which was pretty close, but not that close, the preceding plane. But you wouldn't have even been able to see that because of the direction that the helicopter was coming in at. So you had a confluence of bad decisions that were made, and you have people that lost their lives, violently lost their lives. We're going to take a few questions. I'd like to ask our new Secretary of Transportation to say a few words. Sean Duffy, great gentleman, just started. It's not your fault, and I know you agree with me very strongly on intellect and even psychological well-being of the air traffic controller. It's such an important position, and I think I can't emphasize stronger. I changed it when I first ran in 2016. I changed it. We had the highest standard that you could have, and then they changed it back. That was Biden, to a standard I read it to you. That was from one of your papers. One of the people in this room actually wrote that. And then I changed it back a few days ago. And unfortunately, that was, we'll see. We don't know that necessarily it's even the controller's fault. But one thing we do know, there was a lot of vision, and people should have been able to see that, you know, at what point do you stop? At what point do you say, wow, that plane's getting a little bit close?
So we covered a lot of ground there, but everything he said is correct. And there's other issues that there was another plane very close that they may have mistaken the tower's instructions. They might have thought he was talking about the other plane. They didn't see the one above them descending, okay? They saw there was another plane right there in the area. You all saw it on the video. When you first see the video, you think, oh, there's the plane there. But it's not. It's actually, here it is. It's actually behind the first plane you see. So the bottom line is there's enough blame to go around, okay? The tower should not have allowed them at that altitude, that close to the runway, at that busy of an airport. They should have told them immediately to drop their altitude instead of saying, are you sure you see, essentially saying, are you sure you see that other plane? 5 seconds after that, 5 seconds after he said that. This is 5 seconds. Are you sure you see that other plane? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. No. They had a communication about 5 seconds before that or so. That should have been decrease altitude 200 feet now. And it would have been over with. All right, I'm going to play this video. You'll see the crash. And I think this has got a good close-up. You will see the helicopter as a small flashing light coming from the left of the screen to the plane, which is low on the horizon, the second white dot, low on the horizon, not the first white dot, higher on the horizon. See what I'm saying? They might have mistaken the plane. But anyway, Rudy Giuliani put up a video just like this, but it's transposed. The planes that you see are actually on the left side of the screen, and the helicopter's approaching from the other side. I didn't get a chance to watch it too much because I had to go live. But let me go ahead and play this, and you all can see what I'm talking about. And I think it goes to a close-up. Yeah, I'll play it again. The plane, at the close-up, you see both planes. The one closest to us and the plane that got struck. If you look at it, it's going away from us. The chopper is coming towards us, roughly towards us. Let me play it again. Yeah, so Trump is right. Trump is right. It was very poor judgment. Very poor judgment. And I'm reading in the chats about these, the pilot, it's called a PIC, pilot in charge. And I suspect television show says Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Eves was one of the pilots. And somebody said it was a female that with 500 hours. That's not a lot at all. Well, 500 hours is pretty good. But I mean, when you've got to be able to, you want to train at night. One of the busiest airports in the country is not the place to do it. Yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments. So there's a lot of factors, and I also want to keep in mind that strange things have happened, okay? I remember a story, I can't remember the name of the vessel. It was a battleship that had a turret explode, and that turned out to be a lover's quarrel between two guys in the Navy, and one of them decided to take everybody with him. There have been pilots that have been flying, and their co-pilot went cuckoo. The co-pilot went cuckoo and just decided to end it all. Many of you have heard that story or stories like it, and they firewall the stick and just dive the plane right in the ground. What was going on? We don't know. But on the face of it, I see overconfidence, okay, poor communication, and poor judgment on the part of the tower and the pilots involved. And that happens when you lower your standards. And that's exactly what the Biden administration and the Obama administration did. So, let's see what else we have here. Here's where one of the many stupid questions that have been asked, this is very brief. One of them was Caitlin Collins, I think that's her name. I think she asked something about, I forget. Trump said this is a dumb question, and I'm surprised that it came from you. But anyway, here they're asking me if he's going to go to the crash site.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a
first
plan
responders?
to visit, not the site, because what did you tell me? What's the site? The water?
Or to meet
You
with
want
the
me to go
first
swimming?
responders?
He said, "What do you want me to go swimming? What are you saying to me?" Anyway, so here is another bit of footage. This is quick. I'll play it twice. These are some people just driving around near the airport, and they caught it on film from a different angle. It's very quick.
Color is it? It's blue. It's blue.
Oh,
What happened?
oh my God!
Oh my!
Color is it? It's blue. It's blue.
Oh,
What happened?
oh my God!
Oh my!
Yeah, I'm sure it's much more dramatic when you're sitting there right there in the car and you see it happen. Kaboom. But anyway, so you could have black hats taking advantage of posts very close to this day with remotes. It wouldn't surprise me, but I wouldn't hang my hat on it because Black Hawk is not an Apache. It wasn't the exact same day, but they'll grab at any straw they can. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some kind of somebody had a psychological issue and wanted to just end it. But I'm more inclined to believe that you had mutual lack of experience and common sense from the tower and the pilots. So we shall see. People will be interviewed. Hi, Justin Bean. Thank you for going to buy me a coffee. I said it earlier, but you weren't in. I appreciate that. And I've got a link in the description. Anybody who wants to help the channel out. I appreciate it very much. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the video or a thumbs down if you don't like it. So anyway, let's get back on track. I showed you the Blackhawks. Has anybody got any other thing I want to... Hi, DeCat. How are you doing? Yeah, distraction. Apparently, yeah, distraction, and also to make the claim that Trump's budget cuts or firings would have something to do with it. Where is that video where Trump discusses? It might be this. No, what is this one? I don't know. The screen's dark. I hate that. Because my memory's not that great. But let me play this, see what it is. We'll talk about it afterwards.
You've offered over 2 million federal workers the option to resign immediately. Right. There are 50,000 FAA employees. Does this tragedy give you reason to reconsider that option of resignations because of concerns about staffing issues on airline safety?
If people aren't coming to work, if they're not going to come into the office and report as per the date that you know what it is, everybody knows what the date is, it's been very well documented, then they're going to be terminated.
You're not concerned, though, that if many people take that offer, there could be shortages that could lead to safety issues?
Then they'll be replaced with very competent people. We have a lot of competent people in this country.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it after the last 4 years, but we certainly do have a lot of competent people in this country. And I wish I was 20 years younger because I know what I'd be doing. Yeah, the cat, you remember that too, the Iowa ship, where that was a lover's quarrel or trouble in paradise or something of that nature, right? You don't know until you interview people. You just don't know. Now, they'll get to the bottom of it. Believe me. Anyway, here's some good news. If he is everything he's cracked up to be, Citizen Free Press put this up, confirmed. Congratulations to Doug Burgum on his confirmation as the 55th Secretary of the Interior. A businessman in charge of the Secretary of Interior. That's wonderful. I can't show you this video, but the image speaks for itself. Citizen Free Press again. Elderly woman. STABBED. Okay. In the back. While walking on a Los Angeles sidewalk in broad daylight. And you see this older people, a couple there to the left, and their friend was in front of them. This guy comes up from behind, hits her like 2 or 3 times. You see he's got his arm raised and goes running off. And she's just injured, out of the blue. I wonder what his story is. I guess you all heard about this Cash bingo card. And that was put up by Tom Tillis, folks. So he's playing both sides. See his name down there? Tom Tillis. He's playing both sides by putting up this humorous bingo card. Deep State, PDO file and cannibal, and Benghazi, Liz Cheney pardons. You know what and on, plot against the king, dark money, Mar-a-Lago. So he put out this bingo card. Pam Bondi, Nunez memo, retribution, Steve Bannon. This, I think, is his messaging to us that he knows what kind of tactics they're going to use against Kash Patel, but he's trying to play middle of the road. Like I said, talk is cheap. How are you going to vote? Because once Kash Patel gets in, Adam Schiff better hold on to his hat that's sitting right on top of his pencil neck and his watermelon head. How about that? Look how many times Kash Patel could have interjected with Adam Schiff. He could have said, I'm more concerned about senators who make up stories about the president to the point where people want to assassinate the president. Okay, that's the kind of people I'm worried about. I'm worried about the kind of people that make up stories out of whole cloth and abuse the system in order to influence elections. He could have said all that. But no, he's got to get in. He's got to hold his tongue. He's got to exercise aplomb. But anyway, here's pencil neck, watermelon head Schiff talking to Kash Patel. Look how many times he could have mouthed off, and he did just what he needed to do to stand his ground.
You're being considered for director of the FBI, and here you did no diligence to find out whether people you were associating with now the President of the United States in song were convicted of attacking police officers. Is that who we want running the FBI? I want you to turn around. There are Capitol Police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
No, look at them. I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it. I've never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know,
you
my entire
glorified it in
life,
song,
and I did
Mr.
not
Patel.
make a single dime out of
In
it.
song. Well, let me.
How about you ask them if I have their backs, and let's see about that answer.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Patel. Let me ask you this. If an FBI director promoted a song of people who sprayed pepper spray in the face of an FBI agent, would you say they were fit to be director?
Mr. Schiff?
Yes or no? Would they be fit to be director?
I am fit to be the director of the FBI.
If you were the FBI director and you promoted a song with someone who beat an FBI agent with a pole, would you say you were fit to be FBI director?
Mr. Schiff, I am fit to be FBI director based on my 16 years in government service.
And yet you did all these things, Mr. Patel. You can say, oh, I support law enforcement. I decry violence against law enforcement. You could say all that. It's what you did, Mr. Patel, that matters. It's what you did that matters. Well, let me ask you about something else that you did, Mr. Patel. Did you claim that Donald Trump declassified all the documents at Mar-a-Lago? Did you claim that?
In what proceeding?
To the public, ever. Did you tell anyone that Donald Trump declassified all the documents at Mar-a-Lago?
From publicly available information, President Trump issued a declassification order on a variety of materials.
No, I'm just asking you, did you tell the public, did you tell anyone, did you make the claim that Donald Trump had declassified those hundreds of classified documents that were at Mar-a-Lago? Did you make that claim publicly?
From my best of my recollection, President Trump issued a declassification order.
I just got to interrupt real quick. I was waiting for Kash Patel to say Donald Trump had the highest clearance. And this was reported in the news just a few months ago. What clearance did he have? They call it the 17th letter clearance. Trump had it at that time. Now he's got 17th letter plus clearance, okay?
order to a large number of documents.
Yeah, and were you present when he declassified all the Mar-a-Lago documents?
Senator, I'm not saying he declassified all the Mar-a-Lago documents. I said President
so now-
Trump declassified a large number of documents, and I would hope this committee and the rest of Congress would want to get those documents to the American people.
Mr. Patel, before a president or anyone declassified documents, wouldn't you want to know whether making the public would cause sources to be killed? Wouldn't you want to know that before you just declare they're all declassified? Wouldn't that be the responsible thing for a president to do?
It was the responsible thing for us to do. That's why we
did Donald Trump
No, Hillary Clinton's emails and unsecured server actually got CIA operatives to lose their lives, okay? In China especially. So, yeah, nobody lost their life. You'll hear Kash Patel say that.
No one died.
And did Donald Trump ever ask any of the agencies who produced those documents whether declassifying them would put people's lives at risk? Did he ever do that to your knowledge, Kash Patel?
I don't know that he didn't. Do you?
No, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem, isn't it? So let me just ask, Mr. Chairman, if you would, Mr. Patel has said he has no problem. He would support the release of his grand jury testimony in that case. I would ask you, Mr. Chairman, ranking member, to join me in requesting, with Mr. Patel's approval, the release of those grand jury transcripts. And I would also ask Mr. Patel whether you support the release of Volume 2 as it pertains to you of the special counsel's report. Any reference to you in the report, to your truthfulness, will you support the release to this committee of those sections of Volume 2 of special counsel's report?
I support following the law and providing whatever information the law requires.
Well, you said to the Wall Street Journal that you support transparency. Here's your chance, Mr. Patel. You support release of that to this committee, yes or no?
Your time's up. Before
I tell you, Grassley had an interesting closing statement. He said that, I see Jack Smith being mentioned in the chats, that Jack Smith's abuse of the processes and all the stunts he pulled needs to be investigated. And Chairman Grassley said that Adam Schiff is having a hissy fit. Good. What's this one here? Here we got another video of Kash. Let me see.
Well, let me inform you then. What it says is it raises an interrogatory asking why government resources were utilized. I've run resources and sources at the FBI. I've run sources overseas. It takes months for source developmental networks.
What resources were utilized a year in advance of planning?
That's the question I'm asking, and the Biden Inspector General report answered that question in the affirmative, that multiple sources were utilized, and I was simply trying to get to that answer.
What the Inspector General came back with was, quote, there is no evidence that the FBI had undercover employees in the various protest crowds or at the Capitol on January 6th.
And there is
no evidence.
There's a huge distinction between undercover employees and sources. I know because I ran them. And anybody in law enforcement knows that.
Yeah, there was FBI at the J.6, okay? So, yeah, enjoy your time there, Adam. Yeah, I remember Schiff and Nadler fighting over the podium. Yeah, we're going to see what happens with Jack Smith and all, but the key is to get him in. Get him in. Here's Tulsi. They brought up where she was advocating for what's his face. Who am I thinking about? Oh, he's in trouble. Living in Russia now. What's his name? Anyway, maybe she'll say it. I don't know.
Here are just a few other examples. The American people elected Donald Trump as their president not once but twice. And yet the FBI and intelligence agencies were politicized by his opponents to undermine his presidency and falsely portray him as a puppet of Putin. Title I of FISA was used illegally to obtain a warrant to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, using a Clinton campaign-funded false dossier as their so-called evidence. Biden campaign advisor Tony Blinken was the impetus for the 51 former senior intelligence officials' letter dismissing Hunter Biden's laptop as disinformation, specifically to help Biden win the election. Former DNI James Clapper lied to this committee in 2013, denying the existence of programs that facilitated the mass collection of millions of Americans' phone and internet records, yet was never held accountable. Under John Brennan's leadership, the CIA abused its power to spy on Congress, to dodge oversight, lied about doing it until he was caught, and yet has never been held responsible. Under Biden, the FBI abused its power for political reasons to try to surveil Catholics who attend traditional Latin Mass, labeling them as quote-unquote radical traditionalist Catholics. Personally, just 24 hours after I criticized Kamala Harris and her nomination, I was placed on a secret domestic terror watch list called Quiet Skies. Sadly, there are more examples. The bottom line is this must end.
Yeah, she put it all in there and wrapped it up in a nice little bow. And yes, I see what you're saying in the chats. Snowden. Remember, there's two people with similar experiences, Julian Assange and Edward, and then his last name is Snowden. And I can tell you this, they ignored or vilified WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, right? They glorified Snowden. And the movie's Jason Bourne series is glorifying Snowden. So who do I think is the bad guy? It ain't Julian Assange. Time will tell. Time will tell. Depends on how much he cooperates, to be very frank with you. So let's see what else we've got. Whoops. Goodbye, Tulsi. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Mr. T put this out about, I don't know, an hour before I went live. Something like that. No, a couple hours. The idea that the BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We're going to require a commitment from these seemingly hostile countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty U.S. dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful U.S. of A. Yay! They can go find another sucker nation. There is no chance that BRICS will replace the U.S. dollar in international trade or anywhere else. And any country that tries should say hello to tariffs and goodbye to America. That's right. He announced 25% tariffs on Canada and old Mexico. Let me see. This might be it right here. Let me see. This might be. I'm not sure. Oh, no, this is about the airplane. The airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach, exactly, to the airport. And it's your final approach. You're going to have wheels on the ground in seconds. You're focused, looking ahead. You don't know there's a chopper at your same altitude coming right for you. The helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night. The lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell a helicopter what to do instead of asking it if it saw the plane? This is a bad situation, and it looks like it could have been prevented. Exactly. Not good. That's why I have the outer possibility of somebody may have had enough of their situation on this earth. It's just something to think about. Just something to think about. Oh, I got so much stuff in here, but I can't keep going but so long. This is one of the posts that also had the term Apache in there, other than the one I showed you from the 30th, 2018. I posted this a week ago and it never made traction. See Apache circled. And the answer from the 17th letter was, great work, Anon. See, this was somebody following the boards, got their work shown, highlighted by the 17th letter. So I isolated those things he posted. Let's see. Here. And it says, let's see, Snowden, Mockingbird failure. All right, you all can see that. I'll give you enough time to read it, or you can come back to the video. Then it says, the clock is ticking, Snowden. Snowden, the clock is ticking. How's Russia, Mr. Contractor? Freedom of the press, John Perry Barlow. Someone who lost their life, okay. Secure drop, whistleblowers. Secure drop, clowns in America. Nobody is safe. Why would these, well, anyway, what circled is, reread the past drops, mouthpiece controlled, carefully crafted out their statements with falsified fake Mueller drops will be made that nobody else would dare say, suggest, pawn. All right? I like the way it ends. We see all, we hear all. Wizards, warlocks. These people are really dumb. See, here's secure drop they were talking about. This is how, I guess, how Snowden was communicating. The official secure drop directory. Getting started, guide for sources. Get involved. And it says Apache. But as we know, it was a Black Hawk. So I pulled these up to show you all don't automatically go for whatever people put out to distract you. Was it a GAY triangle of some sort, or was the one of the pilots having a mental issue? Yeah, that's right, television shows. Clowns in America. So anyway, here, End Wokeness put this out. Did you know that 3,000 top-performing applicants for air traffic controllers were rejected by FAA for being white? Did you know that? So there's a lawyer suing for reverse discrimination. As well they should. As well they should. Let me see what else we have here. Here's a good little video if y'all want to see it. It's not overly detailed, but he gives his experiences as a captain. His name's Captain Steve, with a lot of, that's easy to remember, to look it up, analyzing the mid-air collision, but there's a lot of factors he didn't address. I'm sure you've seen a lot of different videos about this. Libs of TikTok again. Reporter Tom Homan came to Chicago, and within 24 hours, he found a criminal illegal alien convicted sex offender who was living there since 2009. Why can't you do that? Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's answer says, it's not my job. Oh, so you misappropriate taxpayer funds aiding and abetting somebody, okay? That's malfeasance at the very least. Look for mayors, other personalities, political personalities, to be, I'll say, detained. So what else have it? I mentioned all the stuff that they are causing trouble with. Why wouldn't they cause trouble with a copter? 100 million chickens. I mentioned this last night. Biden administration. Bang! Oh, why are eggs so expensive under Trump? Shutting down the Medicare website, blaming it on Trump, promulgating a falsehood that people were not going to get their EBT cards, their Medicare, their SNAP, their WIC, their whatevers, which wasn't true. Getting rid of 100 million chickens because one of the test swabs tested positive for something they can't even isolate and identify. Then they say, what? So they're grabbing at every straw. This is one I want to see go down the road. Right here. This is a reminder from March of 2023. This guy, look at this guy. Huh? Remember this guy? I remember this guy. I'm now a proud criminal. Trans activist boasts about illegally supplying cross-sex hormones to youth by ordering 4 times the estrogen and testosterone blockers she needs and redistributing medication for free to little ones. They left that out. I want to see somebody going to the big house over that. Speaking of the big house, and who is going to be following up on this? Who did she say come back and check on me? She told Donald Trump that, didn't she? Look how nice she looks. Isn't she nice? What is it with these people? That's horrific. Tara Bull says, breaking. Elon Musk calls LA Mayor Karen Bass a communist after she decides to hire an outside consultant to rebuild the Pacific Palisades, quote, in a more equitable and environmentally sustainable way without authorization from the property owners. Seems more like money laundering. And yeah, that plus confiscation, okay? Marxism, right in your face. Whoa, I'm losing my juice. I had no idea. Whoa. Anyway, let me check the chat, see what's going on. Yeah, she's a real looker. Here's another example of Obama policies, okay? Rhodesia was renamed Zimbabwe when Robert Mugabe took over. Rhodesia circa 1950, okay? That's the Trump way of running cities, governments, communities. Avowed communist, okay? Robert Mugabe renamed it Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe today. Folks, what kind of government do you want? Yeah, so you're struggling for a thumbs up. Yeah, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Like Jersey Joe, put one in the comments. Thumbs up. And thumbs down if you don't like it. And I got a buy me a coffee just in the description. A link if you want to help support the channel. So, what is this one? I didn't get a chance to crop that. Let me see. Oh, that's that Jason. Yeah, I did crop it. I just didn't get it out of there. That's that one who lied and then took it down. Took his lie down. Let's see. Anyway, I can't find it, but Trump did put 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada. If I come across it, I'll put it up. Let's see. Clandestine put this up. It was subtle, but Tulsi was indirectly asked about her speaking out on the U.S.-funded BO Laboyos in Ukraine. Crizzle. Senator Bennett very carefully asked Tulsi about her stance on Russia's, quote, legitimate security concerns and how she is repeating Russia's justification for invading Ukraine, which includes their accusations of U.S.-funded BO weapon development in Ukraine. Bennett is consciously avoiding saying any buzzwords like BOLAB or BO Weaponios because the Dems know that people like me are waiting for them to bring it up. They're being very careful about how they question her about this subject without bringing more attention to their secret that they are desperately trying to cover up. We have got so many scandals, horrific scandals, that the majority of the population is just now waking up to. The sleeping giant is rising. Every time people get curious and start looking for the facts. This is daily encounters, okay, of the migrants, the new neighbors, undocumented, without repatriations and returns to Mexico. Look at how it dropped off. Had a slight spike there. But we're talking an immediate, within days, collapse of daily encounters. So nobody can say it's not working. Thank you, television shows. Says like and subscribe. Oh, what happened, Bernie? Bernie, you old commie. You old commie rat. What's wrong? What did Robert Kennedy say to you, Bernie, you commie rat?
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? It's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
And
protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had small contributions from workers all over this country. Workers, you were not a nickel from corporate tax.
You were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in the industry.
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered. Last question.
1.5 million, Bernie, and you can sit there and say, oh, it's the workers that gave me the money, the workers. Oh, yeah. Just like when they say, the unions are for me. Yeah, the union bosses are for you. Just like when Trump was pointing out, the rank and file voted for Trump, okay? You got the bosses. I was glad to see that. Weren't you? Some old commie trying to... What happened to the comments? Y'all still with me? Did I drop off? Did I drop off or did y'all fall asleep? Ha ha ha! I got to perk it up a little bit. I don't even... I think I got one more clip to show. Oh, no, I already showed that one. Let me see here. Are y'all still with me? I'm looking at the comments. Well, I got a hopeful one from Marco Rubio.